The Start menu is back. The Start menu is part of Windows from Windows 95 all the way up to Windows 7. When Windows 8 was launched, it removed the Start menu completely. It replaced the Start menu with the Start screen, which was geared primarily for touch users. Users complained so much that Microsoft later returned the Start button, but not the functionality, to Windows 8.1. Microsoft has learned its lesson under its new CEO with Windows 10, and the Start menu is back. The Windows 10 Start menu is a hybrid of the Windows 7 Start menu and the Windows 8 Start screen. On the left, we have a Windows 7 style Start menu, commonly used applications on the bottom, and personal folders like documents and pictures at the top. The right side of the Start menu has a Windows 8 style Start screen with dynamic tiles. These tiles can be rearranged by selecting and holding on the tile, dragging around the menu, and releasing. We can also resize these tiles by right-clicking, resize, and then choosing between small, medium, wide, and large. The currently logged in user's name shows at the top left of the Start menu. If we select the username, in this case JAG Tutorials, we can see options to change the account picture, lock the account, or sign out. Just to the right of the account name, we have a Power Options button. This gives us the option to shut down, restart, and sometimes more. Another note is that the old Start menu had all programs, while Windows 10 changes this to all apps. As we add or resize dynamic tiles, it will increase the size of the Start menu dynamically, as we saw earlier. We have the option to change the size profile of the Start menu. If we hover the mouse over the top edge of the Start menu, the mouse icon will change to a double-sided vertical arrow. Click and hold, and drag up and down to change between the 4 available sizes. There is the default large size, medium, small, and if we drag up to the top, we have a tall version larger than the default size. If you are someone who fell in love with the Start screen that replaced the Start menu in Windows 8, then don't fret, you have the option to turn it back on. Right-click on the taskbar, select Properties, select the Start menu tab, deselect Use the Start menu instead of the Start screen, and then click OK. After saving all your work, select the Sign Out and Change Settings button. Continuum. Continuum is a new feature in Windows 10 that allows for a seamless transition from a keyboard and mouse use to using just the touch interface. What this means is that when you have a keyboard and mouse connected, Windows 10 performs like a traditional desktop PC, just like Windows 7. When the keyboard is removed from a device with a touch interface, Windows 10 automatically changes to operate in touch mode. I don't have an available device to demonstrate this now. Task View. Task View is a new feature in Windows 10 that is like virtual desktops that have been available in other operating systems. Previously, all applications you open would open on the same desktop. If you were working and playing on the same computer, things can get cluttered. Task View allows you to create multiple virtual desktops, each with their own open applications. You could have one virtual desktop running your business applications like Word and Excel, and have another virtual desktop running Facebook and Twitter. This makes it easier to separate the two types of use for your computer, while allowing you to pick right back up where you left off. The Task View button is located on the taskbar next to the Start and Search buttons. So that we are able to see the difference in desktops, let's open the File Explorer and Store apps. Select the Task View button. A gray bar will appear just above the taskbar. We currently only have the single desktop open, so we only have the option to add a desktop. Select the Add a Desktop button. We now have the original desktop tile open on the left, the new desktop tile open in the center, and a tile to add a desktop. Let's open the new desktop tile by selecting the middle tile. For comparison purposes, let's select and open the Internet Explorer app. Select the Task View button again to review the virtual desktops. We can see the currently selected desktop is highlighted with a preview of the content above. There is a small preview of the desktop content in the tile. If we hover the mouse over the desktop, we'll see a preview of all the open applications. This is a great feature to increase productivity and separate tasks. We can close any of the open desktops by selecting the X in the top right of the desktop preview tile. We currently have two apps open in the first desktop and one in the second desktop. If we close out this second desktop, it does not just close out of the apps you had on that desktop. It will move them to the first desktop. We can now see that we have all three of our apps open on desktop 1. Snap Assist helps snap windows to the screen for easier multitasking. If we want to be able to see all three of our windows at the same time, we could move each window around manually, like we did before Windows 8. Snap Assist allows us to snap up to 4 windows on the screen quickly and easily. To start with, select and hold the title bar down on one of the windows. And drag the window to either the left or right side of the screen. When the window touches the side of the screen, you'll see a gray outline when the window will snap when we release the mouse. Upon releasing the window, it'll snap to the side of the screen and show the remaining windows on the other side. Here we can see the 2 remaining apps we had open. Selecting either one of these windows will snap it and fill the space. Windows 8 allowed us to have 2 windows snapped like this. Windows 10 adds the ability to have up to 4 windows open. If we want to have 2 apps open on the right side of the screen, we need to select and hold the title bar. Dragging the window to the top right of the screen, we can see a gray outline showing where the window will snap. We can take the remaining window and snap it to the bottom right. Some windows, particularly the Windows 10 Universal apps, might not be able to operate in 1/4 screen mode. We can have one of the windows take up the entire screen by selecting the Maximize button, as we are used to, or we can drag the window to the top of the screen to snap it to be full screen. Select the File Explorer item on the taskbar. File Explorer now opens to a new home screen. The home screen has favorites, like links to the desktop and downloads on the top. On the bottom are the frequently accessed folders. These folders will change as you use Windows to show the folders you most commonly access. Currently, it just shows the defaults for documents, music, pictures, and videos. It was a little unclear how to add additional favorites to the home screen. I expect that they will add an option to right-click on a folder, but that does not exist currently. To add a new favorite to the home screen, first open the folder. For testing, we will expand this PC, local disk C, and we will select Users. With the folder we want in Favorites showing in the address bar, right-click on Favorites and select Add Current Location to Favorites. We can now see our new favorite folder, Users, listed under Desktop and Downloads. To remove an item from the favorites, we need to right-click and select Remove. OneDrive is integrated directly into Windows 10 in the same way as Windows 8.1. OneDrive shows in File Explorer for quick access to files stored in the cloud. File Explorer now has a Share button built into the Share menu. For testing, I'll navigate to the C drive, Windows, Debug, and select the pass.wd file so that it's highlighted in blue. Selecting the Share link on the menu will open the detailed Share ribbon menu. We have the same options we had in Windows 8 here to email the file, zip the file to compress it and make it smaller to email or put on disk, or print or fax to an installed device. Windows 10 adds the Share button on the left of the Share ribbon menu. This Share button allows you to share a selected item using compatible Windows 10 Universal apps. We'll select Share. Selecting the Share button will open a panel on the right of the screen, showing the item to be shared and the compatible apps. This is the same as the Share functionality in Windows 8 with the Charms bar. The only app that we have that is supported and set up is the Mail app. If we had other compatible apps, we would see those listed below. Selecting the Mail, Send an Email item, we'll open the Mail app and attach our file. Selecting outside the main screen will exit the Mail app. Windows 10 Universal Apps. Windows 10 Universal Apps is the new name for what Microsoft previously referred to as Metro apps, Modern apps, and Windows 8 apps. Windows 10 Universal Apps will run on all Windows 10 devices, including Windows Desktop, Windows Mobile, and the Xbox One. Let's open a universal app like Calculator. It opens full screen by default in a window. There's a new button next to the Close button for Restore Down, like traditional Windows applications. We can now work with Windows 10 Universal Apps just like traditional applications. And best of all, Calculator doesn't need to be full screen. We now have app commands, built into the window instead of needing to open the Charms bar to select them. Select the App Commands button. Here we can see settings that were once found on the Charms bar. We can open the search or share commands on the Charms bar. We can send the app to a projector with Project. The last option is full screen. This is different than when we select the Maximize button. When we select Maximize, we still have the title bar and the taskbar visible. Selecting the App Commands button and full screen uses the entire screen. To exit full screen mode, move the mouse to the top of the screen and the title bar will return. Select the Restore Down button. Search button. Selecting the Search button to the right of the Start button opens the search screen. They show Trending Now articles from Bing.com on the right of the default screen. Clicking on any of them will open the article on the Search Universal app on Bing. If you searched for anything previously, the newest searches will show under Recent Searches. Enter a search term like weather. Above the line in the top section of the window, it will show results like several apps that provide weather information that are not yet installed, and the Weather app with dynamic information about the weather below, such as the temperature and current forecast. Below the line shows common search results that can be selected to open that search term in the Search Windows 10 Universal app. If you press Enter after entering a search term, it will select the first item in the list, which is outlined in gray. We can open any of the search terms in the Search app by selecting them. The Windows Insider Preview Program. Microsoft is trying to make the changes to Windows 10 that users want to see. Microsoft wants you to be a part of every key moment along the way as they create Windows 10. Shifting from what I believe to be the poor leadership of Steve Ballmer to Satya Nadella is responsible for this user-focused shift of Microsoft. The Windows Insider program allows you to provide feedback to Microsoft using the Windows Feedback app. Select the Start button, All Apps, and then scroll down and select the Windows Feedback app. As you might expect, the Windows Feedback app is a Windows 10 Universal app. The left side of the screen shows all areas of feedback in different categories. The default selection is Recent Applications, which conveniently shows the most recent apps you had open. If you had a problem, chances are you would be in a recently opened app. Apps in Windows Store. This lists all the Windows 10 Universal apps installed on the system. Let's say we have an issue with a touchpad on a laptop with Windows 10 Technical Preview. We will select the Hardware and Devices area, and then Touchpad. The Send Feedback About Touchpad screen opens. They want to hear from you about what you like, about problems, and to make a suggestion. It shows feedback from other users that might be experiencing the same issue as you. Let's select an existing issue. If we find this is the same issue we are experiencing, then select the Me Too button. Let's move back by selecting back. If that was not our issue, we can search for other problems already reported in the search field, or we can select the New Feedback button. Enter your new feedback and select Send. Remember, your comments are public, so don't add any personal information. You can attach a screenshot by selecting the Screenshot button on the bottom right of the screen. Command prompt. The command prompt has finally been updated to the 21st century, but not by default. Microsoft has started to revamp the command prompt and add functionality such as copy and paste that we've all used in other programs for decades. Copy and paste and other experimental features are not enabled by default. Let's open the command prompt and enable copy and paste. In Windows 7 and earlier, the command prompt was located in the Start menu under the Accessories folder. This is changed in Windows 10. To open the command prompt, select the Start button, All Programs, scroll down and select Windows System, and then select the command prompt option. Select the small command prompt icon in the top left of the window to open the context menu, and select Properties. On the command prompt Properties window, we have the 4 standard tabs, but we also have a new tab called Experimental. To enable any of the experimental features, we need to select Enable Experimental Console Features. Applies globally. Select Enable New Control Keys Shortcuts. There are also additional features that you may want to play around with, such as extended edit keys, wrap text output on resize, and enable line wrapping selection. We can even enable transparency with the opacity slider. The changes will not take effect until the next time we launch the command prompt. Select OK. Select the red X Close button in the top right of the window. Relaunch the command prompt as before, or using search as follows. We can now paste something from the shared window clipboard, or we can select text from the command prompt. Select the text you want to copy, and use the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+C. And then we can test pasting it into the window by pressing Ctrl+V. Here we can see the text we selected pasted into the console. Microsoft definitely seems to be moving in the right direction with Windows 10. I noticed them continually updating it as I was writing and working on this tutorial. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial. If you like the content, please subscribe to my channel or check back often for new tutorials.